What's up guys, Al here from AM Training. So as you notice, I'm not Dan. I don't have that cute little accent he has or that blue nice room that he has. But I did want to make sure I represent his channel correctly. So I'm nice, I'm sporting out the nice little blue shirt because it's his favorite color. I even gave myself a nice little haircut so my drapes match the carpet, if you know what I mean. So let's go ahead and talk about what I think is important. And as you see, I'm doing a nice little Asian squat here, and that's what I'm going to talk about is the third world squat. I believe the third world squat is a great thing to have and a great thing to do throughout the day because it's going to help out with performance. So you have your mobility and your performance. A lot of top coaches like Dan John, he loves the nice little third world squat. Also, everyone knows Brett Contreras now, the glute guy. He's also a fan of goblet squats, and they both like to teach the squat in a goblet squat form. And there's a good reason for that is because you get nice and deep and also allow the your hips to really open up. Coordination is going to prevent you from getting into this, but like I said, if you do it more frequently, you'll address that problem as well. So as you see in my other videos of me squatting, that this position, I'm not afraid of it. I'm not afraid of the hole going into it. I even use that nice little stretch reflex as I come down and explode straight up. But I'm not, scared of the hole because I'm always in the hole. That's what she said. I'm always in the hole, and the hole is my home. So let's go ahead and talk about how we can get in a third world squat. So you gotta definitely practice it every day. It's a skill, and you notice a lot of Asian or third world countries, they sit like this. There's a reason why they sit like this is because we don't have chairs, and also it's pretty darn comfortable if you maintain it. So it's really hard to get into this position if you don't really use this position. But in the third world country, we don't have chairs, and there's all these types of bugs that want to eat your crotch. So you definitely don't want to sit on the floor while bugs try to tear the crap out of your crotch. So the three things that I think that are important to have a nice third world squat is the things that help out would be, number one would be dorsiflexion, or the mobility in your ankle. Ankle mobility is going to play a lot into it, because if you notice, a lot of people when they come down, they don't have that mobility. In order for them to come down, their heel raises up, and that's because they don't have that dorsiflexion. A lot of people have bad dorsiflexion or tight calves, and a good way to measure that, the standard is roughly around, everyone's going to be different depending on how big their feet are or how tall their tibia is. But a good rule of thumb is that you should have at least a good 4 inches of in front of your knee coming out forward. This should be a nice 4 inches, but again, we're on Dan's channel, so let's go ahead and go centimeters. It's 2.5, so using my Asian math, I promised him I would put some Asian math in here. That would be a good 10.16 centimeters going forward. And like I said, everyone's going to be different, but the key thing here is to make sure it tracks over the toe and that you have that good 10 centimeters going forward. Because a lot of people, they'll start to go forward and they'll actually substitute kind of turning out their foot in order to get that mobility. So that's one thing that needs to be addressed. So the key points that I said that will prevent you from getting into this position are the dorsiflexion, or that calf tightness that I was talking about. The second one is your hip stability. So basically, if you're not stable, if you can't handle this squat position because your hips aren't strong enough, there's certain ways that will help you, or certain techniques that will help you get there. So we'll slowly break that down. One of them is when you are getting into that position, if you can't hold this because either you finally did address that dorsiflexion problem, stretching out that soleus there, that ankle mobility, you can also, if you don't have that strength, you can hold on to something like what I'm holding here and get into that position, and do that for a good amount of time of the day. You want to try to be frequent about it. So at least do it once every day, because it's a skill. And like Eric Cressy says, you don't want to fall into a 23-1 rule, where basically 23 that 1 hour you're in the gym, you do great. But then that 23 hours in the gym, you're crap. It's basically, you're obsessing over 1 hour when, what about the other 23? So I like to watch TV in this position. I like to do videos in this position. I like to, oh, that kind of sounded dirty. I like to make sure I even, give my son a bath in this position. I'm giving him a bath and I'm still in this position because you want to really practice the skill. So like I said, you can hold on to something. In my case, I'm using a table, but you can use like a doorknob on a door, of course, and sit back into that position and really, this is basically acting as a false stability for your hip. So as you get better, you'll slowly wean off of it, and then you'll still hold out your hands there to counterbalance. So that's why a goblet squat is wonderful, because it also counterbalances you also. But as you get better, you probably won't even need it anymore, and that's addressing that second issue. So Johnny Candido made a great video about how the butt wink when you're in the bottom of the squat isn't such a big deal, and that he said that hamstring mobility and flexibility doesn't play a huge role in getting down deep and getting into that position. But a lot of physical therapists that I work with, they definitely say that hamstring flexibility will play a role into getting deep into that squat, because if you think about it, when you're in that position, it is going to give you a pull, and you're basically using your erectors and synergistically your hip flexors into trying to get into that anterior tilt. Basically, you're trying to prevent that butt wink, so you need to make sure that your hip flexors are strong enough, and also your spinal erectors are strong enough as well. So they both play synergistically in order to make sure that you don't get into that huge butt wink that you're in. But it's not too big of a problem, especially if you're unloaded and just a nice little squat like I am right now. So I'm going to go ahead and recap what I said here. The 3 things that will prevent you from getting into this nice position is your dorsiflexion mobility. Like I said, you want to go ahead and work on that soleus muscle. Even in the squat position, you can work on it. Like what I do is I lean to one side and lean to the other. And basically we're stretching that soleus muscle. There's a difference between if you do it standing with your legs straight and doing it with your knee bent. There's 2 muscles in the calf there. You really want to focus on that lower one. The second one is stability. So if your hips aren't stable, then your glute strength is not going to help you stay in this position. And I can stay in this position pretty long because I'm pretty stable, but you work up into that. You have to work up to that time. So like I said, maybe while you're watching TV, definitely give this a try. And you want to make sure that you're pushing your knees out, because your knees are going to want to cave in because your glute is kind of weak in this position. It's in a nice kind of stretched position, so you want to make sure that it's in that position there. The third one, like I said, is the coordination issue. You can definitely benefit from doing this more frequently a day. If you're getting water, or if you're tying your shoe, make sure you do this. A lot of people, instead of going into that position, they try to avoid it by having their heels up. So when they get down into something, they do that. But that's not going to be beneficial because you don't squat like that. So the key thing here is try to practice this more frequently. You guys can't just jump into it right away, where it's going to be, you got to stay in this position for a total, an hour or 2 hours a day, just like a minute or 2 a day, and try to get into this position more frequently. If you need to pick something up off the floor, just pick it up like that. I mean, you're going to get a little bit of looks, and it's hard to do it in slacks as well. So I'm lucky enough where these are stretchy pants, where I can do this all day while I'm helping out patients get into, do their exercise as well. So guys, make sure you go ahead and try this out throughout the day and do it more frequently, because you don't want my grandma, my 80-year-old grandma, she squats more than you guys. So, and I'm not talking about intensity-wise, I'm talking about more frequently. She has the mobility to do this, and with this, she is more active throughout the day. So this is an easy thing to maintain as you do it more often. It's just hard to obtain if you lose it. I mean, babies are able to get down and drop into this position perfectly. It's just as we get older, we try to find shortcuts. Alright guys, that was it. Train hard, train smart.